G'day cocktail lovers. This is the second New Orleans drink I've discovered recently that's a tribute to a well-known local museum, Dr. John. Prior to finding these cocktails, I'd never heard of Dr. John because I guess I don't listen to that genre of music. Now, two cocktails named after him. This one, named after one of his songs, is called a Night Tripper. It's from a New Orleans bar restaurant called Jewel of the South that, incidentally, Liquor.com named their best restaurant bar of 2023. So I guess if you're down that way, maybe check it out. And this is an interesting little drink, very reminiscent to me of the other New Orleans drinks that I'm so fond of. Well, on paper, anyway. I haven't tried it yet. Let's give it a little taste test. So there's those beautiful, rich, boozy flavours that I associate with the New Orleans cocktails. This is really quite nice. In terms of ingredients, it's bourbon based, and I'm actually going to use a bourbon. I will very often use Australian whiskies when a cocktail calls for a whiskey ingredient, because I have so many Australian whiskies. Those are almost all Australian. There's like one Scotch, one Irish, and there's actually two bourbons there. And this is a slightly more unusual one. This is from California, the Sonoma County Distilling Company. They call this their West of Kentucky bourbon, and I quite like it. What's this? This is 47.5% alcohol by volume, so it's got a bit more going for it than a lot of whiskies do. And I do think this is quite tasty. Now, it also calls for a dark amaro like Averna, so I'm using Averna. The original recipe calls for Strega, and I don't have Strega, so I'm going to substitute yellow chartreuse, which is a good substitute for Strega. Incidentally, if you can't get yellow chartreuse, and you can get Strega, it's a good sub for yellow chartreuse. Not the same, but on the same spectrum. Also calls for a dash of absinthe and a couple of dashes of New Orleans' own Peychaud's bitters, because yellow chartreuse is not quite the same as Strega. I think Strega has slightly more licorice flavour than yellow chartreuse. I'm going to put in a little extra absinthe, just a little. They say one dash, I'm going to do like 2 dashes. About half a bar spoon's worth is going to go in. But those are all the ingredients, and I'll show you right now how to make it. In a mixing glass, we put 1 3/4 ounces, around 50 mils of bourbon, or the whiskey of your choice. Then we're doing 3/4 ounce of a dark amaro like Averna. Then 1/4 ounce, about 7.5 mils of Strega, or in my case, yellow chartreuse. Then we're adding 2 dashes of Peychaud's bitters, and I'm rounding things out with 2 dashes of absinthe. Add ice to the glass, stir that for 20 to 25 seconds to chill and dilute the drink, then strain that into a rocks glass over a big chunk of ice. If you want to learn the easiest way to make sexy clear ice like I'm using here, stay tuned for the end of the video, there'll be a link. And I'm going to use my favourite garnishes for boozy drinks, a twist of orange peel and a maraschino cherry on a skewer. All of which gives us the Night Tripper, a wonderfully boozy little drink, and I'll tell you what, it's deceptively easy drinking. Like, even without sugar syrup in it, just the amaro, there's sugar in that, and in the chartreuse and whatnot. It doesn't need sugar in there, and it's still really easy to drink. This is a nice little sipper. I do recommend you give it a go. Yeah, particularly if you like your boozy stir-down drinks. This is a really nice one. So give it a go. The Night Tripper. Cheers.